second here till I see we're live streaming, and then okay, we are on.
All right. Good afternoon, everybody, and welcome to the September 15th, 2025 meeting of the Whatcom County Fire Protection District Number 4 Board of Commissioners. I will call the meeting to order, and we'll start with roll call. My name is Steve Cooley.
Tim Johnson, Commissioner.
I'm a commissioner. Sorry, I forgot that part.
Mark Land, Commissioner.
Jason Vanderveen, Fire Chief.
All right. And Chief, do we have anybody that signed in for public comment?
No, sir.
We do not. Okay, then I will open and close the public comment period, and we will move into the approval of the consent agenda. All matters within the consent agenda have been distributed to each member of the Board of Commissioners for review, are considered routine, and will be enacted by one motion of the board with no separate discussion. If a separate discussion is desired, that item may be removed from the consent agenda and placed on the regular agenda by request. And today our consent agenda includes our meeting minutes from August 18th, staff reports from the chief and his people, also the financial reports, including a direct deposit payroll of $483, monthly expenditure voucher of $1,902, which I believe was for an insurance renewal, and the capital voucher for our siding project, $104,394.64, for a total expenditures of $106,779.64, and our total revenues for August were $130,658.41. I will entertain a motion for approval of the consent agenda.
I would move to approve the consent agenda.
Commissioner
Second that motion.
Commissioner Land moves and Commissioner Johnson seconds. Any further discussion about the consent agenda? No further discussion. So all those in favor of approving the consent agenda, please say aye.
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 Motion is approved 3-0. The consent agenda is approved. Moving into unfinished business, let's talk about the annexation that the city did not approve. Chief, do you want to provide a quick overview? Would you mind?
Sure. In August, you may remember that the city council sent back to the committee of the whole the proposed annexation of the Northern Heights area. When the committee of the whole met, there was a presentation by city staff regarding the annexation, kind of providing some background. And ultimately, after about 40 minutes of discussion, city council voted to not move forward with the annexation. It was mostly based on two items these are what my perspective was. Two items. One was the cost of some infrastructure projects, totaling about between $13 and $15 million that needed to be done in that area. And the second was there was not clarity on the number of affordable housing units that this annexation would bring into the city, based on the fact that currently HOAs have the ability to throttle or deny what do you call them? ADUs, on properties that are inside the HOAs. Apparently there's some legislation moving through at the state level that will supersede that would force HOAs to allow ADUs on their property, but or on the properties inside the HOA. But currently that is not a thing. So HOAs can deny that. As I understand it, the up to 2 ADUs would be allowed on the certain properties within those HOAs that is in Northern Heights, and currently that number allowed by the HOA is 0. So the city did not choose to move forward, and as far as I know, the issue is dead, or it's closed now. I believe there is probably always a way for the organizers to come back, but I haven't heard of anything. So that's done.
Okay, great. Thank you for the summary. Any discussion about that or questions? Go ahead, Mark.
Yeah, thanks. So, Jason, do you know, was this annexation, movement being driven by just the natural organic, the city urban growth area expanding, or was this part of a neighborhood push? Was this part of a landowner development push? I'm just trying to understand like who the loser is in this not going through, or if there even is one.
From what I was able to ascertain from the documents that were submitted, it was basically three larger landowners. And the Northern Heights neighborhoods, they all had basically no protest orders when those purchases were made by the initial property owners. Those property owners signed a no protest in exchange for city water and sewer being extended out to those properties. So the neighborhoods couldn't protest, but there was three larger landowners in there that formed this group that pushed forward for annexation. And you're correct, that area had been designated under the urban growth as part of the urban growth area for the city of Bellingham. And that was a major point of discussion by city council, was that not all annexations are winners in their book. Some annexations come at a cost for the greater good, but with Bellingham facing some of the financial constraints that they're looking at in the next couple of years, they couldn't make that stretch, and there was not enough support amongst city council. So this was not, I would not call this a grassroots effort, if that's what you're asking, Commissioner Land.
Yeah.
This was more of a concerted effort by some developers.
Okay, perfect. Thank you.
Any other discussion? Go ahead, Tim.
I know kind of coupled with this annexation talk was talk about redoing the 1997 agreement. I was wondering if that's still something that the city's willing to work with us on, or is that discussion also kind of put on hold at this point?
No, they're married, but separate. So that based on what is happening with the Growth Management Act and other places that the city may be adding to their UGA, we now know that discussion needs to continue. So it's going to keep going on. We're taking a break during budget time, but we'll probably hit it again in December, January. So
Yeah,
Okay.
the ultimate.
So-
Go ahead, Tim.
No, I would just expect that maybe after elections, there'll be another attempt to do this annexation with new council members, and I think we should just be prepared that it'll come back around.
yes, I agree. I think that it will. I don't think the developers they look in the long term, and I think they'll make another run at it. And yeah, so that 97 discussion continues on.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, I certainly would like to see us push that through and get a new agreement in place that, within the next year. So that's great, because yeah, this will probably come around again. So
Yep.
Great. All right, anything else on that subject?
No, sir.
Okay, then moving on to our nearly completed exterior project for Station 12. We saw in the notes that it's almost complete and painting may start next week, Chief?
Yes, painting scheduled to start on the 18th, so Thursday.
Oh, Thursday, great.
And yeah, it's going well. We've had there's been a couple areas of rot, so that have been fairly minimal. There's been one repair which was quite large, or bigger, I should say. It totaled about $12,000. I went ahead and authorized it. It was the flat roof portion of the building. It had been identified as a problem beforehand. It is not going to push anything. I think based on some savings we'll see from the project, it may come out as a wash. maybe a little bit overbid, but not anything that frankly warranted a special meeting in the in-between. And it brings it up to current code as far as insulation and that kind of thing. So no, the project has gone better than we thought. And yeah, the colors will basically be the same as they were before. So just not, I had multiple colors because it had multiple belly bands and all this stuff. It'll just be kind of the base color and then one trim color. We're not doing anything fancy. So that's where that's at. So I hope to bring a completed project to you next month.
Excellent.
Awesome.
Any other discussion or comments there? Thank you for the summary, Chief. All right, that concludes our unfinished business. Now we'll move on to new business. Britton Loop Station 12 alarm panel. We saw some paperwork in the packet about that. But
yeah, there's been some ongoing problems with the alarm panel at Station 12, and the size of that building, obviously, it transfers over to the size of the cost of the alarm panel. Right now, it's been suggested to us that we may have to replace the alarm panel, which is about a $15,000 cost. So I'm planning on that as a potential 2026 capital expense for District 4. We're trying to find out what is causing these problems with the alarm panel before we just move forward with replacement. Why at 25 years is this alarm panel suddenly not working the way it's supposed to? So until we can get clear answers on that, we're not gonna move forward with doing anything. But we wanted to let you know that is kind of over the past couple months, it's kind of come up. We've had it diagnosed. Of course, the alarm company, their suggestion is to replace it. We want to know why at 25 years is this thing having the problems that it's having. There's some thought that it might be an external problem with PSE. I know we've been experiencing problems with PSE up here in North Wacom as well, specifically Station 72. Our power's gone out 4 times in the past month, which is really unusual for the summer. But just wanted to give you a heads up, put that on your radar, so that you're not surprised or wondering why. What's the deal with this repair request? So
what kind of problems are we experiencing? Can you
it
summarize?
seems to be some low voltage problems, like the voltage is dipping and it's causing parts of the alarm panel to sound, but not the whole thing. And there's no problem in the station. There's no water problems in the station. It was happening before. We thought maybe at first it was tied to the siding repair, and it's not. It turns out the problems were happening before then. So we're just not sure. But when we got the low voltage or unsteady voltage, the first thing we did was turn around and look at power coming into the station. Turns out there's been some issues going on in the area. We're working with Bellingham Public Works to see if we can come up with a pattern as to what exactly is going on.
Okay, so still in the process of figuring it out.
Yep.
Okay. Go ahead, Mark.
So it's funny, I come at this from a little bit of a different angle. When fire panels go down in the city, or in cities, the people responsible for those buildings, they hire me and my company to provide fire watches while the panel is down and being replaced. Does the county have similar kind of, or do county fire departments have similar kind of requirements that there's
Yes.
a fire watch when the panel is down?
Yeah. And that's the weird thing is the panel's not down. It's giving us low voltage alarms. It's not even alarming the entire thing, where it's giving us a watch in a certain zone, and the firefighters are there. They can clear it. They can see that there's no problem. But
Okay.
it's happening in the middle of the night. It's happening like 2, 3 in the morning, which We know that there's some large sewer pumps that are going on, and they're moving. City of Bellingham's moving sewage at that time with some lift pumps, and so we're trying to see if we're stressing. Is there what's causing that stress on the electrical grid that's causing basically station 12 to brown? I wouldn't say brown down, like it's not the lights aren't going down, but for whatever reason, this voltage on this panel is it's not maintaining. It's not going out. It's still, it hasn't hit the threshold for Firewatch. It's just doing some wonky stuff.
Okay. Okay. So, but if we, I mean, this is, I just want to think ahead because I want to think about if I end up with a conflict of interest or not. So if, let's say we determine that the panel does need to be replaced and we're doing, $15,000 to replace the panel, and it's down for, that takes days or weeks or whatever. We're gonna need to have a fire watch?
We would have to post Firewatch.
Okay, all right, well, I know a guy that can provide that service. I would just have to abstain, from that vote.
Absolutely, yeah.
But interesting, small world. I wonder, so does our power come from that substation there at Britton and Hillsdale?
I would assume so, but I don't know that for a fact.
Because I just had my water meeting last week, and just sorry, I won't take up any more of our meeting time here, but there seems to be some connected coincidences with because we have lift stations that are there, and we also pump. That's where two of our main pump houses, where we pump water from the city to our towers and to feed the water that everybody needs up there. And we've had some kind of funny random alarms going off, and it makes me think that all of this stuff, with water and the city and the power and the fire, somehow it's just all related. I can't connect the dots, but it's just got to be related somehow.
I think that's why we think there's a PSE component in here, that there's something's wonky with the way power is being delivered in that area. Certainly been a lot of growth.
Yeah.
So it's just, yeah, we'll continue to dig into it, and maybe I'll reach out to you offline and talk to you about your water, some of the things you're seeing with the water system.
Yeah. Thanks.
Okay.
Right, any other discussion about that item? Thank you for the heads up, Chief.
Yep.
Okay, didn't see any correspondence in the packet. That brings us pretty much to the end. Our next meeting is the 13th of October, which I will be at. I'm able to be there. Hopefully the other guys are too.
Looks good.
And then
Sorry, I should have looked at this earlier. October
13th, yes, sir.
Is that one of those holidays that normal people are off? I have it as Columbus Day and Indigenous Peoples Day.
That's a good question. I'm good for it.
I mean, I am too, but I don't know about
Yeah.
people that might have plans if it's one of those 3-day weekends.
Yeah. Are we good for you, Chief?
Yeah, I believe it is.
Federal holiday, is that what we're talking about?
Yeah, but it's a day we work.
Okay.
Okay.
Right. And then we have the meeting day after tomorrow with District 21.
The budget study session. Yep.
Yeah. Are one of you gentlemen able to go to that? I'm leaving town.
Available.
Okay. Great, Tim.
That was during the week, right? And I think the question came up was if we could zoom into that.
Yeah, we're not gonna be able to zoom that one because of its length, unfortunately.
Okay. Yeah, I probably will have to pass on it.
Okay.
All
Sounds
right.
like Commissioner Johnson's going to be there. So
Yeah, it's still 9:30 at Station 61.
yes, sir.
Okay.
Great. Thank you, Tim, for covering that. All right, any agenda items for the next meeting other than, just a quick question. Is the purchase of the fire truck kind of still on our radar?
It is. It'll be a 2026 item.
2026, okay.
Yep.
Gotcha. Okay. So any other agenda items for the next meeting that we don't have on there already? Anybody can think of? Nope. All right.
No,
Hearing
sir.
none. Then everybody remember to go sign your documents, and I will call the meeting adjourned.
Yeah. If you
Thank
could,
you.
Thank you. Take
Hey,
care.
guys.
shoot me a text when you sign.
Will do.
Sounds good.
You bet.
Okay.
Bye.
Thanks, everybody. Have a great day.
Thank you.